Hey guys, hey, welcome to today's video. I'm Chris with Daily Wave Cafe. It is the 2nd of December. Let's take a look at the markets. I'll be quick today because there wasn't a whole lot happening. You can see here the equity markets, with the exception of Bitcoin, which rallied pretty nicely, but we'll talk about it here in a second. The equity markets were fairly flat. The NASDAQ, so you could say that the tech sector maybe rallied a little bit better, although there were parts of it that kind of declined, pretty severely there. I noticed a few stocks that were quite weak. We continue to hover around this highs from November 12th, and so far this is kind of the third day that the price is being held below those levels in the S&P 500, and this is definitely an interesting behavior. It seems that we're having quite a bit of supply. It's my cat here right behind my laptop. We have quite a bit of supply sitting up there, and so far it's just preventing this from continuing to go forward. If we lose the low from yesterday, I think we can accelerate into a 20-day moving average. So definitely we're going to watch that very closely. I have increased some of my hedges in here, especially after I saw a bit more weakness here in the Russell, where we've actually, so we've gone above that B wave high for a couple of days, and then we basically moved below that line, below 24. Okay, my cat is pushing my monitor. So, we're waiting to see if this is going to get back below the 50-day, but a couple of closes right at the lows. These are a bit concerning on the small cap field. Then on the NASDAQ composite in here, you can see we've closed towards the highs. We're still a little ways away from that swing high from November 12th. So this market is a bit stronger in here. Right? We've had some good moves from I guess there were semiconductors that rallied. I mean you've had stocks like Mongo, DB, you've had CRDO, there were a few others that kind of bounced pretty well. So we'll see. It's I'm also looking here at breadth, and I see a pretty sharp turn here in the number of stocks above their 20-day. It could be just a small correction. Also above their 50-day, also it's turning, and above the 200. So we're getting a little bit of a response, definitely from from these levels from the prior B wave highs. These are some stocks here that I watch. I'm not going to go through them. Let me see. I can just kind of quickly. So you got your BMNR. I'm looking for this to see you kind of how it relates in relationship with Ethereum. CLS, it's another one that looks very weak because you have like a 5-wave decline and a B wave, and now you're closing towards the low. So very interesting, because if we're going to lose this one and lose the 50 RSI, there's going to be more downside there. SanDisk, it's another one that's broken its downtrend. For me, it's important to see this when the downtrends get broken. Then I'm looking at the B wave and see how they react, and if there are opportunities to short with confirmation from the market, for a break below the A wave, or to try to get it near it. It has a tendency to work, and it's been a very high flyer, but it lost its groove. And then stocks like Coin, which is still struggling, Hood, it's still struggling here below the 50-day. CRDO, I shorted CRDO today, basically after the failure. I shorted it a bit higher at about 195. I think I got in it. Volume because of earnings, but the fact that you've closed below the breakout level, I think that's a bearish sign. So I'm very curious to see what happens with CRDO tomorrow. I'm obviously watching Google because it's been so extended. Stocks like LITE, which is on my short list, but I need a bit more I need to see a little bit more deterioration here. Meta, I'm just kind of watching it to see how it behaves. Palantir, these were stocks that were pretty strong, and now they're struggling. Tesla, it's another one that's right at that 50-day. So, is it an A, B? See how it goes. WDC, same like SanDisk, right? Into those storage, whatever they do. Again, a pretty interesting bearish reaction from what looks to be maybe like a 78.6 rally. Stocks like Apple, which is fairly strong. Then we're looking at Netflix, weak. Nvidia continues to be very weak. APP, it's another one that's on my short list as a ABCX and an ABC. We'll see how that goes. So just a few thoughts there. So let me go and touch on Bitcoin to show you a couple of things there. So, we've talked yesterday. I showed you the wave counts and kind of how I have two as a wave A and as a wave 4, wave A of a larger 2, or as a wave 4, as a larger push higher in a with the following wave 5. But look, it's a good reaction. We talked yesterday about this pullback into the 78.6 and how, we're going to watch this for a reaction and see how powerful it gets. Well, it did get pretty strong. Now, you know, we haven't gone above this high back here, which, even if we will, it needs to be, it needs to kind of stay above the 20-day moving average and not fall below. This is still a downtrend for all intents and purposes. This whole thing in here could be just very simple kind of corrective channel, and you can fall back and start to break lower as this again becomes a we were looking at it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but so I'm not saying that that's where it's going, and I'm not saying that it's already done. So as I said yesterday, right? I mean, today won't make a big difference, but it is encouraging the fact that it's turning from here, and for those interested in a bullish Bitcoin, which I guess most of us are. This type of move, it's good, it's healthy, but it's not enough. So this needs to digest a bit more. You have a crossover between between the 50 and the 200. You have a 50 moving average that's basically in a sharp decline, a 20 that's just barely stabilizing. So good news is the fact that we haven't gone to a new low and that we're stabilizing. So that's the best I could take from from price action in Bitcoin in here, and the more positive signs I see, the more encouraged I will get. But we're far from being out of the woods. Just as simple as a trend line, helps to increase conviction that the downtrend is over. But Bitcoin did quite a bit of damage, with the moves below 100K. And if we look at the weekly time frames here, it needs to do a lot of repair before we can say that it's returning to a bullish trend at somewhere where the buyers have the upper hand. Right now, they really don't. If anything, it's neutral with the bearish tilt. There's a lot of price levels here that have to get taken out before this moves for me into the kind of the bullish territory. So, I wish I have much better news to say. I don't want to, I'm not here to give any false hopes or anything like that, or to just kind of pump Bitcoin with my counts or with my talks in here. I just want to be realistic about the price and just kind of watch it carefully. Now, I'm a long-term holder, as probably many of you are. So, I choose not to add to any of my positions. In terms of some kind of a swing trade or even on a long-term hold, it's just kind of not the right place for me to kind of get involved yet. So for right now, I'm just kind of watching it, and we'll see. And the markets are mixed. I mean, if you're looking, VIX is back, so that's good. It's back below 18, and it's kind of eliminated some of that fear. We'll see, what happens here. If the S&P gets rejected and fear turns, then this could quickly get back towards 20, 22, what have you. The dollar index, it seemed that it found the bottom here, almost what it looks to be like a double bottom, but it's still in a bit of a downtrend, so it's in a nowhere's land. I can't really, put my finger on it. The yields are just sideways. Silver is doing great here. Sitting at about 59, a bit extended. I think that we are in some kind of a fifth wave. I do have the counts. Maybe I'll talk tomorrow more about this precious metals, and I'll show you my counts. We're still not done, as I've said. As we were correcting here into the 50-day moving average, that we need further highs and further upside for the sequence, for the impulsive sequence to get near completion, and that's not happening yet. Although we're pushing towards that, but it's still looking good there, and that's yeah. So that's about it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Twitter, Discord, YouTube, Substack. You can find me easily. So thanks. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.